Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. And we're back at Undercaste Studios. Super excited. This is the second or third Friday. I'm not quite sure because the schedule doesn't make sense to me yet, but we're figuring it out and very glad to be here. But before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary, fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records, from indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records, supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and I don't have a can with me, but Portland water. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hey, I'm Billy the Fridge.
Hello.
Jimmy, how you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
With music, okay, yeah. I'm like, oh, you don't even know what I'm into. I'm a rapper from Seattle, Washington. I've been probably, doing this for a couple decades. Mm-hmm. I got a baby face, but I'm in my early 40s.
Okay.
I started at Undercast. I was recording at Undercast out of high school. So I was 17 when I first came in here. So
yeah,
I've been able to watch this place grow, and it's awesome to see you come through, and I'm happy to be on the show.
Yeah, super stoked to be here. And that means you were probably one of the earliest people.
Oh, there was people before, not this location. It used to be in Isaac, who runs Undercast, his mom's backyard next to a chicken coop.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, but I imagine you were there from the earlier starts for sure.
Pretty close, yeah. I got there in the first few years of Undercast.
Gotcha. Hell yeah. So well, we'll dig into that in a little bit. But before what got you started in music initially?
I always wanted to be some sort of entertainer. Mm-hmm. Early on, I thought for sure I was going to be a professional wrestler. And I would try and do anything that was entertainment based, because there wasn't a huge professional wrestling scene in Seattle, Washington at the time. Yeah. And I wanted to work on my character, work on just being the type of person that could maybe cut a promo, or if I wrote some lyrics or a poem. I was always writing something. Mm-hmm. And my buddy was doing something at Undercast, and he said, "Come on in, we're gonna do some comedy stuff." And we started to record some skits and some parodies and BS type trashy stuff. But I just stuck around, and over the years, I think I kind of tried not to be a rapper for a long time, because everybody at the time was rapping. Eminem was big, so everybody and their mom wanted to be a rapper, and I was like, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
and then I just accidentally became a rapper over the years. Start battle rapping people. You start picking up ciphers, and just. It's hard not to.
Fair. Respectfully, I don't think I've battle rapped anybody in a long time, but door's always open. No, I'm kidding.
Let's go.
All right. And before we talk a little bit more about what you do with music in the present day, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on.
Yeah.
And this first one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
I think it was Doggy Style.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg. And all my friends couldn't buy it. We were young, but I was big enough, because I was big, chunky, tall kid, that I was able to go in and get it.
Damn.
And they were all like, "You got Doggy Style?" Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No problem.
Hey, yeah. Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to? That was like specifically one you wanted to go to.
Yeah, that's questionable. I grew up a pro wrestling kid, so most of my live events were like monster trucks or WWF, and I can't recall the first like big concert. I started going to local shows because I was like, 16, 17.
Yeah.
And I would just go to like the friend shows. And I remember seeing Twista at the Northgate Theater with Unexpected Arrival, local lineup. That was like a big name that I remember seeing early on. But otherwise, it was like local guys coming up. Seeing Blue Scholars in a small, or Macklemore in a small club.
Hell yeah!
Before they got bigger.
Damn, I didn't realize Blue Scholar was from up here.
Yeah.
Is he still here?
Yeah. I think Gio might still rap a little bit, and Sabzi has been making beats for other people. I don't know. Recently, they kind of like drifted in their own directions, and they haven't done anything together, I think, for a while.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, anybody, if you know if they're still around, shoot me their ads. Let's
get them.
And actually, I meant to ask in the earlier part of it. Growing up, did you have anybody in your family that was musical at all, or are you like the first generation of musical artists?
Yeah, we weren't huge musically. My uncle was a drummer in a band. My grandmother played the accordion.
Yo, shout out to accordion players one time. That is a complicated instrument for no real like it just so many buttons. So many buttons.
It was fun though. Yeah. We all had an appreciation for music type of thing. Yeah, my father was a rock and roll guy.
Okay.
The 60s, 70s. We always had the oldies on.
Yeah, the classics.
Now the oldies are what I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
You'll hear the oldies is stuff that I thought was new. Oh, no, where are we at? And my mom was a big, she would listen to all types of eclectic music, folk music, sea shanties, all types of different influences. My grandmother was a huge music fan on the other side, not the polka grandma, but the other grandma. She was like Bob Marley, and she was always listening to some sort of interesting stuff. And the kids would tell her to turn the music down, type of situation. So that's probably the closest I got to music with the family is taking it or the accordion, or my uncle talking about his drummer days.
Hell yeah. Hey, I mean, that sounds like a pretty well-rounded experience.
Yeah. I mean, music kind of hits everybody, right?
There's a different layer to each person's experience for sure.
Yeah.
And then before we officially get into more you in the here and now, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
I always knew I was going to be an entertainer somehow.
Yeah.
Really, I found my way into Undercaste because it was like the local studio in the neighborhood.
Okay, so that was just, you just really never looked back from that.
Yeah, it was people who had their minds set on entertainment, right? Yeah, and they were doing shows. They were doing all making the music, doing all sorts of promotion. And I'm like, I was doing promo for Undercast for the longest time. Go out with guys and pass out flyers and make flyers, make all sorts of design stuff. I just wanted to be doing something that I knew was connected to where I would eventually be with entertainment. I was eventually going to be an entertainer of some sort. So stick around guys who are also like-minded and moving hopefully forward, hopefully upward. And that's kind of what Undercast has always been to me, is people who are putting in work. And if that's where the music sunk in, because it's hard not to, get in a jam session when everybody's sitting in a circle and you maybe have Isaac playing the drums and all these other guys are rapping and you're like, I can do better than you. I'm gonna do better than you. I'm gonna jump in.
You battle Cypher. We're doing it.
Exactly. Just sitting in the room, 3, 4 a.m., 10 guys throwing the mic around, and I'm not gonna I can't help but get into the spotlight. I don't have to steal it. I can share it.
Yeah.
But I'm in there.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm too big to sit in the background.
Fair. I dig that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and let's get on into you in the present day.
Yeah.
We're going to get a super easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
So my legal name is William Berry, and the Chicago Bears William Perry was the refrigerator. William Refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
So people called me William the Refrigerator Berry, and they started calling me Fridge. I needed a web domain one day, and the refrigerator, William the Refrigerator Berry, was way too long. So it was like Billy the Fridge, like Billy the Kid. .com, and it worked.
Yeah. Well, it definitely it's a catchy name. I always do where I break down names, and like it's easy to remember. It's got a good ring to it.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those ones where it's like once you hear it, you're like, yep, that is it for sure. It gets stuck in there and it works. Yeah, and I imagine it's solid for SEO. You know what I mean? People probably find you pretty easily that way.
I should hope so. Yeah. I don't know enough about SEO. Like as long as I've been in the game, I've never tried to do the SEO thing.
Respectfully, I just know the term. I don't really know much about how it works either.
I've always been very lucky that, like you said, the name is catchy or whatever.
Yeah.
I go viral all the time for I do weird stuff too. So it's like, I'm not just out here making music. I'm out here making a fool of myself a lot of the time.
Fair.
It blows up. And then, one day I'm just kind of like explaining myself to a million people and they happen to see the music at the same time. Be like, I like this guy actually.
Oh, hell yeah. I dig that.
Yeah.
Now I have one other question before we move into the next bits. What was your pro wrestler name going to be?
So early on, I trained for a while up in Canada. I really wanted to I did some traveling, some wrestling across the country. I really wanted to be a wrestler. I was going by Kingpin. Kingpin.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the Spider-Man cartoon series. When I was young, I'd run home to catch Spider-Man, and he was always going up against Kingpin, the big bad guy.
Yeah.
And I thought the character would be funny if I took the name Kingpin. The movie Kingpin with was a Woody Harrelson and Randy Quaid. He's a bowler. I'm like, I'm gonna be a two-sport wrestler, pro wrestling and bowling. So like the joke is like, these are two sports that nobody really considers a sport. And I was like a former bowling champion. And I had a couple of moves that were like bowling based stuff where like grab the guy's legs, spread them apart, jump up and drop a leg drop in between his crotch. You call it the 7-10 split.
Stupid, pretty dope.
Stupid stuff like that.
Okay. Man, yeah. I get it now. I see that. That's cool.
Yeah, I was just some big guy that was obnoxious and goofy and intimidating. So,
yeah, man, I can imagine.
Yeah, it goes a long way. I didn't need that much training in order to get into a ring and hold my own.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for sharing that as well.
Yeah.
Getting back into your music, let's talk about your writing process a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's break it up into chunks, but start right at the beginning. When you get inspired, you're ready to make music, what are some of the things you do to get a track started?
So it's never the same. Sometimes I have no idea what I want to do, so I'll just be like, hey, let's do a beat that's got this sort of feel. One of the songs off my recent album, God Complex, I decided I wanted to make a song called With My Balls, so that you could tell Siri or Alexa, say, Alexa, play With My Balls, and my song would come up. And when I said that to Lincoln, he produced the whole album.
That's incredible.
Right?
Wow.
I thought it was a good gimmick.
Oh my God.
But I didn't know what the song was going to be about. And Lincoln was like, well, what type of song is going to be? I have no idea. I just want it to be called With My Balls. It could be anything. It could be a country song. I don't know. And he's like, well, hold on. And he starts making a country beat. And I'm like, okay, I could make a really goofy song But to me, I thought it would be way funnier if I made a serious song. So I made like this serious. I say it's serious, but it's like me in a country accent. It's just
I'm familiar.
okay. Yeah,
I did listen to it.
it's just so out of left. I put it at the end of the album because it's so different. It's so weird, but to me, it's so funny.
Yeah,
because it's like it started with that dumb joke, and then like I took it too serious, and then I'm just every time I hear it, I laugh.
That knowing that almost makes it make more sense now, and that is
makes no sense in context to the rest of the rest of my whole album criteria, all albums, my discography. It's not. It doesn't make sense.
You know, it's funny you say. We're going to talk about your music in just a moment. I want to put a pin in that so we can get through. But we're going to circle back to that. But let's hold that here for just a moment. When you're writing, do you mainly have people who produce beats for you, or do you get them from elsewhere?
So the last two albums, I have Ill and God Complex. I work completely with Lincoln Nettleton here at Undercast. We go into a session. I kind of give him an idea of the feel, and he makes the beat. Sometimes I wrote an entire song, and he hasn't made the beat yet. And I'm like, I kind of wrote to like the style of tempo of this beat that already exists. So make a beat with this maybe like tempo and feel, but not this beat. I don't want this beat. I just want to be able to take what I wrote and put it over it. Sometimes I'm just in the car driving and like a hook or something comes to my head, and I'm like, I'll go over it, kind of like tune it in my head. And if I remember it when I get home, I'll write it down. And I'm like, that one was good enough to remember. So let's try and make a song out of it.
Man, you should just call him and leave a message with the idea on there. Like, hey, I got this idea. Make a beat out of it, and I'll come and see you in a few hours.
Yeah. Sometimes I will like get my phone out and record a video of something I'm thinking of, but I never go back and listen to it. I have so many on my phone that if I probably went back, there's probably like 100 different ideas that I never went back to, but some of them will stick in my head. And then,
well, we actually got access to your phone. No, I fully understand that.
Careful.
And then once you get a beat picked out, how do you go about putting the lyrics together? Are you like freestyle kind of guy? Do you pen and paper? Are you on the phone? Like,
yeah. So I've done it all. I've done like the typing on the phone. I've typed pen and paper. Sometimes I'll just think of lyrics and over again, and I'll have like 2 or 3 that stand out that stick in my head. And then when it's time to write, I'll get them down and then try and piece everything around them. There's never one way to do it. And I think it might be part of my brain. I don't know if I'm scatterbrained, ADHD, whatever they say, but I'm all over the place all the time. My ability to focus is really based on how interested I am in something.
Gotcha.
It's like I'm all over the place. But once I'm interested in something, I'm like, okay, let's obsess over this.
Yeah, you just tunnel vision super hard. I definitely understand that one. And then once you get a track finished writing, it doesn't have to be like recorded and released per se, but you've gotten it down, you're ready to go over it. How long does it usually take you to feel comfortable enough to perform a track?
Live? So I've got songs that I've been doing for over a decade, and I'll still mess them up on stage.
Fair.
I don't know what it is with my brain. Memorizing lyrics is never a guarantee. Sometimes perfectly fine, go right through. Luckily, I freestyle a lot. So I'll be live and I'll have a track that I've done 100 times, and I'll be going through and I'll stumble. But mentally I stumble and forget my next line, but I immediately go into da-da-da-da-ba-da here live at the studio, live at the Jimmy Jam box with some pink socks and my stink box, stupid stuff like that, right? But I'll go flow through until the chorus comes back. All my songs when I perform live, I keep like live the chorus in, and just so it like doubles up when I'm singing, or I can take a breath if I need to.
Yeah,
I'm a big guy, so I'm all my courses are recorded layered, so having a backup layer that's
just part of it. Yeah,
I'm not tripping about it, but it's it's definitely, I've had to freestyle my way through a couple of tracks that the audience knew better than I did. And you could see them in the crowd going, oh, this is new. And I'm like, sorry, guys.
Hey, it's just it's a free remix for everybody to experience one time.
Yeah. It's a live show, bit of a train wreck. I have train wreck vibes, but I also, in between every song, I'm doing basically what is comedy, like riffing.
Yeah.
I need a couple of minutes between each live song to just kind of catch myself, catch my breath, recollect, we'll get ready for the next song. And I feel like it's a better show too. People who have seen me a bunch of times, you don't know exactly what's going to happen in between. For me, I think it's a good show. It's not all about the music for me, and it never was all about the music for me. Even though I love the music, I love writing, I love the detail you can put into a piece, the innuendos, the entendres, the depth of the writing, the ability to like tell the story with the writing. There's always more. There's always another way to introduce it, to give it a different feel while you're live. Just take the audience with you, and for the most part, they don't give a fuck if I fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the live experience. I think everybody's prepared for those things. And like you said yourself, you are an entertainer. That is really your main focus anyways. So like your ability to do music is just an addition to your layer. Like Wayne Brady. Wayne Brady can do a ton of music, but the man is funny. He's going to do the comedy as well, and everybody's going to love both of those, plus whatever else he chooses to do, because he's just multi-talented. I dig that. But now let's go ahead and let's talk about your music a little bit. So I jumped on, ye old Spotify, and I'm going to go a little long on this one because you got a grip of music. It's going all the way back to 2012. So you've been doing this for quite some time, and the overall thing that I can say, that having as much as I possibly could, you've got bars. Like by 8 Ton Gorilla, I was a fan because I started at the beginning. And that one, like, I can't even go into all the reasons why I love that song so much, but that was the one. Like, so early into your early stuff, I was like, oh, I got to get ready for this one. And I appreciated that no matter what era your music was in, it was obvious you were putting in the effort and consistently changing things up. There was not a moment in time where I was like, oh, another Billy track. Like, you brought the heat every time, and your wordplay is so good. Like, it's tight. And that was just kind of what I got from all of it. But I did check out your most recent album, God Complex, which just came out not too long ago. It was up back in May, right?
May.
It's a great album. Like, it's probably some of your best work. And some of it's funny, some of it's serious, but it's all solid. I will say I am sad that we didn't get a three-peat of another Billy titled track.
Right?
like, Just a Bill and Billy's were both rad, but I wasn't too bummed because I got towards the end of it and you had a track named Kill Tony. And it was actually about Kill Tony, which is one of my all-time favorite experiences. This is a weird plug, but shout out Kill Tony one time. Coming for your episode count. But that is you can ask anybody. I have seen pretty much every episode. But I'm also a very big fan of your album. It's super solid. I am curious though, why did you make that particular track?
Okay, so I have been a fan of comedy since I was a little kid. George Carlin, Chris Rock, Gallagher. Growing up watching Gallagher smash watermelons when I was a little kid stuck out to me. I had to drop the Gallagher line at the end of the thing because it was even like I had a Pauly Shore line. This is just stuff I grew up with, and I've always been a fan of comedy. I was working in Beverly Hills about 10 plus years ago, working for this weird billionaire who was running a TV station out of Beverly Hills on Cannon Drive. It was basically glorified public access. But he was hiring the D-list celebrities to host shows. He had me hosting. He had like Andy Dick, Eric Roberts, Ron Jeremy, just weird people, right? Eclectic. I think it was people he met in AA or something.
Gotcha.
And then Tony and Red Ben were hosting shows there too back in the day.
Oh.
The guy who ran the programming was a guy named David Nussbaum, Nuzzy, and he was a comedian at the Comedy Store, and he would get all the comedians to come in and host shows. And I had not known Tony through the studio other than watching him. I'd never met him at the studio, but I went to the Comedy Store one night after hosting a show, and he came up to me after his set, and he introduced himself to me, and I've been following him like ever since, you know.
Yeah.
This was like probably before Kill Tony started.
Yeah.
But I've been slowly just peeking in on him, and then the last couple of years, the show has just gotten so big.
It's blown up so much.
Yeah.
It just did Madison Square Garden not too long ago.
So cool.
Yeah, which you guys beat me to it. That was my goal for this show, is to get it in there.
Yeah, as a pro wrestler, pro wrestling fan, like you, just like the mecca of live performances.
I mean, it is just in general. I mean, even in the realm of music, that is like, once you've done it there, you've kind of done it.
Yeah.
That is how you know you've reached kind of a threshold for sure.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to dig in that for a moment.
Yeah, I'm a fan of comedy, fan of Kill Tony, fan of all that. And the idea for the song, for those of you that may or may not care, the Kill Tony, the idea of the show is to make Tony laugh, to kill. You kill live on the comedy set, make them up. But like the idea is, there was a guy who came on and he had a bad set. It's almost like the Joker, the king of comedy type of feel. And Tony, said something that pissed me off, and I come back and I kill Tony.
Oh, I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah,
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
So I just that's the idea of the song, is that I come and I have my hopes up. I'm gonna be the funny guy. I'm gonna get everybody's approval. The set doesn't go well. I like rap. I basically wrote a minute. Like they would on Kill Tony in rap form. So I have like the minute going in the middle of the song, and I'm doing my little stand-up set, and then you can hear like the cat meow.
The cat meow, and then the bear.
And then the bear shows me off, and I'm like got little bars to go along with the sound. But then I'm freaking out, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, Tony. And I come back, and it's like the last verse is just me going through the back room, ready to like smash him. Just dunzo. And you hear the sirens. There's a lot of on the song. There's a lot of audio. Addition, like the sound effects. You can hear the
little clips and such.
You can hear the whole shebang. So it was a really fun one to make. In my head, I was like, when you sit down to make an album, at least me, I had no idea what it was going to sound like.
Yeah.
The first track I went in to make was a track on the album. It's the last track on the album, My World. And I just had this idea in my head for that, and I made that song, and then I was like, where the hell is this album going to go? And it took me a few songs before I kind of started getting in the groove. And then, it's getting to the end now, and I'm like, what can I do to have a kind of an interesting track? I like to have tracks that are a little pop culture related. Historically, I've always had a little pop culture added in. I was like, let's do some Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Let's kill Tony.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. And it just worked out that way. So.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for digging in with that one for sure.
Yeah.
But I am on kind of a broader scale, and I know you have a ton of music, so I'm posing this question. I pose it to everybody, but you can narrow it down in any way you want.
Yeah.
But out of all of your available music, what are some of your favorite tracks to perform?
Okay. I really like performing a lot of the stuff off my Old Fashioned album, 2012, and it might be because I remember most of them. Every time I try and play a new song, I haven't got the muscle memory for it. So when I'm performing, I know if I do Just a Bill, it's got a good feel. The chorus, it's my most popular song. If I do that song, I get to kind of like geek up during the chorus because I'm not like rapping over the chorus.
Yeah.
I do ad libs, and I get to like kind of get in the zone in between verses, and the verses go hard. I really like Workaholic performing live. At the end of Workaholic, there's like a little sing thing. Get loose, sit on top of the roof and drink a couple of brews and let things go. Oh, and as I'm doing that live, I'm just like going stupid and getting obnoxious, and it's like it's a little cringy, but it's part of the performance. So I let myself get cringy. The audience has fun; they love it. I've noticed. Nobody's like, boo, and throws a tomato at me or anything. It seems to be fun and enjoyable. I really like doing Feels Batman off of my Ill album. I haven't performed anything off of God Complex yet. So I'm going to have to figure out what songs on there are going to be my big performers, because it's a different feel on a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what would be my favorite song to perform on there. I have to figure one out, because got to add one or two to the set. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, definitely let me know when you figure out which ones they are.
Yeah.
Now I want to take a moment. I want to zoom out. I want to kind of look at music as a whole.
Yeah.
What are some of the things about either new music, if you're one of those people who's always taking in the newest stuff, or if you're not, what are some of the things about music that you've recently heard or listened to that you enjoy and maybe you're finding inspiration in at the moment?
Yeah, I think I am not the best at new music.
Yeah.
I used to find music, I would wait until my friends like sent me something or what my friends were listening to. And I don't have those friendships anymore. I don't have those music friendships. What I do now is I'll put Spotify on and I'll just have like whatever the new music playlist is. And every once in a while, I'll find something that I really, really like that stands out. And I am trying to recall the name. Oh, see, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's all right.
I don't remember, because it's like I'll hear it and I'll love it, and then it goes away. But then it comes back. I get into like the weirdest circles, like acoustic pop cover songs. I'll listen to that on Spotify, and I'll go roll back, and I'm listening to Rolling Stones for like 2 months. It's like I don't know where I'm gonna go with music. Any day of the week. If it's new music, it's almost always in one ear and out the other. And I like a lot of it, but it doesn't resonate with me.
There's a lot of it now, I think, especially with like the addition of so many ways to experience music. As a whole, like new music, or like stuff that's like that you've never heard before, is so easy to come by. And respectfully, the algorithms have gotten good enough now that they can usually keep it pretty in the realm. Like, and I've found like even some of the artists I listen to now, or like find from that, I'll click on them and they'll only have like 200 followers. They'll only have like, less than 1,000. And I'm just like, this is a vibe. Like, what is this? And that's, like, so it's always, it's not like it's just, oh, this is the person with 1 million and something. Now you're going to hear them. It's actually gotten pretty good at being like, you like obscure, you like deep, you like unknown. Here you go. So I appreciate that for sure, but it is hard to retain a lot of it now. And then before we move into the next portion, this next question is probably the densest question in the interview, but we've talked a lot about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions, but when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
So as an entertainer, I think you have a connection with what you put out, as a creator, music creator, comedy creator, whatever it is you're creating, making videos, making podcasts, whatever you're creating, there's an audience. And I've been just so lucky to have like a great audience. Even if my numbers aren't through the roof like they have been, I have a core group of people who, they show up, they appreciate, they love, and it's just that. But what you get back from the audience is, it makes everything worthwhile. Those words when someone is like, your music made my day better. I don't know whether it made their day way better or a little better. It's like, it means something. What I'm doing isn't just for me. And if it was just for me, I don't know if I would do it. Like, I remember very early on, I think I was like 5 or 6, and I made my little cousin laugh. And he laughed so much, I think he peed himself. I can't remember. I know I made him pee himself at least once. But the way he was laughing, I was like, dude, this is great. Like, being able to elicit positive reaction out of people. I got to do something like this for the rest of my life. And that was from a very early age. I knew I was going to be on stage somewhere. And music has just been one of those outlets where you like, oh, I'm on stage in a can, you know, I'm on stage on a tape, I'm on stage on a disc player, on a Walkman, I'm sleeping, and across the world, I'm on stage in, you know, Denmark, Austria, Greece, Japan. Billy is in someone's ear, and I'm on stage when I'm not even awake. And that to me is it's my meaning, right? So music gives me an outlet to share, and that's always been my drive, to share.
Damn. So I ask that question a lot. That is definitely one of my favorite questions in the interview. I really enjoyed that answer. Like, I think there's something really special to be said for, like, especially the way you said it, like, just, you know, the concept of you're on stage in all these settings. It's not just a recording. It is you, and your ability to connect with people now gets to transcend your physical present existence. It now gets to exist all over. I really like that, man. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I think that's partially also why you said I bring the bars, I do everything. I'm trying to hone everything so it does get that playback, that re-listen. And if I'm live in front of a group of people, 500 people, whatever, watching me perform on stage, how many people are going to come back? How many people are going to buy this CD? How many people are going to listen to the song? How many people are going to listen to that song over and over again? I want to do the best possible I can in that moment, because that moment, hopefully, will live forever.
Yeah.
2012, old-fashioned album. People still love those tracks to this day. The new God Complex, less than a year in the making, and I hope that 10 years from now, people are like, man, this holds up, because I got stuff from 10 years ago that
I was gonna say, it holds up. Yeah. It's very rare that I can listen to somebody's earliest work and then listen to their newest work and just be like, yep.
I think part of me not wanting to be a rapper for the longest time, I got to sit in the back and watch everybody else go through their awkward phase, and I kind of got to bypass the awkward phase.
Yeah, you learned what to do, but you also learned a little bit about what not to do.
Yeah,
and I imagine, you know, it's kind of osmosis at a certain point.
There was definitely a 5-year period where I could have been putting out music, and I think by not putting it out, it just gave me so much more gas. I finally put my foot on the pedal.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, man, thank you so much for answering and sharing all that.
Yeah.
Now, before we actually get into the next portion, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to tell us a little bit about your podcast, seeing as we're currently on one.
Yeah. I just started a podcast here at Undercast called Big Chillin'. Big Chillin'. The idea is I am bringing in maybe musicians, maybe we just had a comedian, Andrew Rivers, in. I want to bring in all types of creators, all types of interesting people, maybe even not creators. Maybe it's a little weird in the soft white underbelly scenario, and we have some people who have just lived life, you know, and bring them in and hopefully.
Do you know any pro football players?
I don't personally.
Oh, well, they usually have wild stories, just so you know.
I might have to reach out to some. I definitely want to stretch out the conversation. It doesn't have to be stories, even if the idea is just to sit down, have a conversation, hopefully laugh, hopefully get a little bit silly, but also spread a piece of whoever's on out to my audience and hopefully beyond, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully that we're making some stuff that has some some reachability and can connect with people.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah. Do you have a set schedule where you release on? Do you have or is it just kind of like
currently right now? It's whenever we can book people that can come in, and I haven't been super vigilant with booking just anybody. I've been kind of bringing in old friends, but I think I'm moving into the realm now where I might try and reach out to more comedians, more people who are potentially going to be an interesting conversation.
Oh yeah,
and just have fun. It's above all, it's I want it to be just a place to sit down and bullshit, you know?
Yeah, no, I dig that.
And I've been doing like live streaming and everything. I've been broadcasting for 15 plus years online, and it's where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
So
well, you've definitely got the personality for it. It like feels very comfortable.
I blame that on my pro wrestling history. I was always character minded, you know, and that carried through music. It carries through broadcasting. Early on, before I could be a pro wrestler, I was 12 years old. You know, I knew I couldn't go get in a wrestling ring at 12. But I know I could talk trash, you know?
Yep.
So I'm practicing my character as a little kid. I want to be boisterous. I want to be over the top. I want to command my presence when I'm in a room. And I want to be able to convey like serious messages in the most like graspable way, you know?
Yeah.
There's something about entertainment, you want to appeal to the lowest common denominator, right? But also you don't want people to think you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to speak to the masses and still be able to attract people who think a little higher than everybody else.
Yeah.
I try and be a balance of both, like an idiot savant type of feel.
Hell yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. But now let's go ahead and let's move on to the next portion, which is all hypothetical questions.
Yeah.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one's pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive.
Yeah.
Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Okay.
You know, we're going to spice it up a little bit for this. We're going to make it a two-part. Who would you want to work with musically, and who would you want to get as a guest for your podcast?
See, I think I could answer this in a
just spit some bars, y'all.
right. I think I don't think that. Oh man!
Remember, it could be anybody.
If I could get John Cena.
Okay,
because he's got the rap history. His entrance music, "Your Time Is Up, My Time Is Now," was done by Jake One, Seattle super producer. He actually did my 8 Ton Gorilla track. So like, there's a piece of Seattle in that guy. There's rap in that guy. There's wrestling in that guy. There's entertainment, movies, comedy. I think. If the budget was infinite,
yep,
and I could get him if he was down to play ball, I think we could make 15 minutes of flames.
Oh, you know? For sure.
15 minutes of something that is just fucking nuts.
Dude, that would be the best podcast intro ever.
I think it would be pretty chill.
Oh my god! To get John Cena to rap on your podcast,
right?
Intro?
Not just rap
for him after,
and maybe not just interview. Maybe we got a whole choreographed fight segment.
Whoa! So then it's wrestling during the episode.
Who knows where it goes?
Oh my god! Oh,
who knows that?
Everybody at John Cena, let's do this right now.
Look, John. I know what you do, okay? You do things across the world. You're an amazing person, but wouldn't it be amazing if you put all your bullshit aside and you got down and dirty with young Bill Fridge? Wouldn't that be something? Let's make a wish, John. I know you help all those sick kids. I'm a sick son of a bitch. Come do my podcast. Come do my raps. Come do what you do. See if you can go toe-to-toe with somebody who has never put in the work you have. I'll tell you that. I'm big lazy compared to you, John. But maybe it's time for you to lower yourself to me, Billy the Fridge.
Oh my God. I hope I remember in post to make that all. That was incredible. That was.
So if you're gonna call out John Cena,
Yeah, you got to do it. And
you gotta do it. You gotta go for it.
I'm going to make sure there were notes there. Y'all are still watching me say all this. That for sure had to happen in full screen. That was the best. All right. Now, the follow-up question is going to be a little less grand scale now, but subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
I would, I think it's Nacho Picasso.
Okay.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
I've been since the first track I saw of him. I was like, he is eating this up, and he's the type of guy that puts like pen to paper bars.
Yeah.
And he's a character. He's cool. I like Nacho Picasso.
Yeah, there's actually, surprisingly enough, that is a name I'm familiar with. So that's super cool. Everybody, add him in the comments as well. Before or after John, it's up to you. But that would be a cool one for sure.
John Cena, Nacho Picasso, Billy the Fridge. We're going to just do a 3-way brawl podcast battle rap song. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be so stupid.
Nacho, the wrestling part is optional if you just want to do the track.
He's got muscles. He can fight.
All right. Well, then, you know what? No longer optional.
Bring it.
All right. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it was guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Where would you want to perform?
Oh, this is huge. Let's go. Oh. I think let's just go the old lusty lady down on what is it, Pike and I can't remember. That's not Pike. What Union? Wherever the lusty lady. I can't remember the damn crossroads anymore. It's been closed down for over a decade. Let's rebuild that son of a bitch arcade style. You got to come in and watch me perform in the glass window. Throw the quarters in, and I don't care if you're masturbating. That's what they did there. That's like you guys don't know. Lusty Lady is a peep show. It was 25-cent peep show. Naked girls dancing in the windows. It was just this dirty piece of Seattle. One of my earliest songs, actually my first song I think I recorded by myself was Lusty Lady, and it was released on an old mixtape. And it was just a dirty little song, a dirty little place, Seattle's dirty little secret. And if we could just bring that arcade back for one performance, you'd have to come in and drop your quarter in like everybody else to see me rap. I'd be up on stage, have a couple of naked girls dancing next to me, and we'd probably have to set up a bar inside for full effect. But it would be gross. It'd be a nasty little spot, and it would be fun. It's just a memory that it means something. To me, to Seattle, the dirty part of Seattle before Amazon cleaned everything up and made it impossible to. I don't want to just blame Amazon. I think the 2008 market crash shutting down all the perverts that worked for Washington Mutual that would come in and drop hundreds of dollars during their lunch hour to see naked girls spread their selves against the glass window. I think it was just a piece of history that was gross. It was very Seattle, and I think you lose a lot of that when things get privatized and become corporate. And you could say Madison Square Garden, you could say perform I don't know,
Red Rocks is another big one. Red Rocks.
If you could have a gigantic projection onto Mount Rushmore with my face.
Oh shit, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be really badass, right? But it's got to be that dirty little hole in the wall that where I started everything. That song I made, Lusty Lady, way back in the day. My first bit of notoriety. People remember going to the Lusty Lady one time, and pop my quarter and the window goes up and the girl behind the window, she was like, Billy the Fridge. She's like, I'm awesome. I was like, I know, it says your name on the thing. And, you know, she became my friend for forever. It's just because of my stupid little song. And I just fucking, I got buddies that my whole life went on a trajectory because I decided to make a Lusty Lady song. And so let's bring that thing back, shine it up real nice, have a couple of 2 days only weekend come in. I'll perform 20-minute sets every hour.
Okay.
Come in, you can catch me for 20 minutes. If 40 minutes of girls dancing, I'll come back in, do my 20, in and out. It's an ambiance.
Yeah.
It's something that it's probably impossible. I don't know if they tore the building down yet. I know they finally took the sign down. But yeah, that's just a piece of history that connects to me, that is gross and beautiful.
Yeah.
And
that's a really cool answer
to me.
Yeah, I appreciate there's a lot of layers to it for sure. I don't know if I can break that one down in its entirety, but that was actually a really cool put together answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, no, you took the time and you made it worth it. But now to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
I grew up, I grew up on Tupac and Weird Al. So Weird Al's done a lot. Tupac died. Tupac put out many albums after he died. Crazy shit. But a Tupac album now, talking about the world now, everything that's happened since he was gone, I'm listening to that immediately.
Yeah.
That's give me a Tupac, 2024 Tupac. And I'm gonna the first copy I get is gonna get played out. I'm gonna destroy it.
Hell yeah.
Re-listen to it over and over again. And if he sucks, I am making a Tupac diss record. Like, sorry you came back just for me to fucking put you back in the grave. You meant everything to me. You should have stayed dead. But I'm sure it'll be amazing.
No, for sure. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and May?
Yeah, I have been working on a new album with the MC Type and Smoke from Old Dominion. Smoke, dope producer. He's producing the whole project. Type has been coming up with these ridiculous concepts. As funny as I can be, Type is another guy that from Seattle that is like, we met because he also put out a song about the Lusty Lady back in the day.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, Fridge, I did a song about the Lusty Lady too. And I was like, oh, we're gross. We've done a bunch of songs over the years, but I was like, we should do an album. We've been talking about it for over a decade. And finally he's putting it together, and he's been sending me these tracks, and these song ideas are pretty ridiculous. And I think I've recorded 4 of the tracks and he's got 11 done, so I have some catching up to do on his end. We're almost through the entire album, and it's sounding really good. So by May, you will all be listening to the Billy the Fridge, MC Type, and Smoke project.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then for this next one, go and look straight at the camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
I am at Billy the Fridge on like Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. YouTube, Billy the Fridge. I got a bunch of videos. Music videos are great. Weird stuff too. If you just search Billy the Fridge online, I'm not responsible for everything you find. Like I play a character, and also I don't care. So sometimes I get stupid and I say stupid things. The one thing I do care about is that I'm trying to entertain people, and sometimes it's not always sweet, nice boy Billy. Sometimes I'm a little out of my mind, but it's part of the process. I'm trying to go viral, so I act weird.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you'd like to put on while you're on here?
Yeah. Welcome to Undercaste Studios. Glad to have you here. I love Undercast. Literally wouldn't be making music if not for Undercast. Like, there was a path I could have gone, and if Undercast wasn't here, I probably would not have made music. Undercast makes musicians better. One of the early calls for Undercast was where musicians record musicians. And I really wasn't a musician, you know, I was an entertainer.
Yeah.
And I became who I am because I was learning through some great musicians and great people, and people who come in and out over the years are influential. And that's everywhere, you know, people you meet. If you hang around with influential people, you know, it makes you better. And I try and keep myself around good people. So shout out to Undercast and all the crew here.
Yeah.
And
before you keep going, if y'all want to find out more about them, if you go back to Fridays to episode 600, they were the guests.
Hey,
all right, back to your shout outs.
Yeah. So yeah, Undercast, big shout outs to Undercast. Love this place, and it's cool to be here with you, Undercast. Well,
yeah. Thank you so much. All right. With that being said, I've got one last question to go, but before we do, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and I still have no can, but Portland Water. And one more shout out again, Undercaste Studios. Thank you so much for having us. And with that being said, the final question, and this is entirely up to your interpretation, but in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
All right. The Saturday Nights Mingle. They're a local group, Barfly. Tilson came out on Light in the Attic Records. Mingle. It's good. It's got this kind of like surfer, Cali, punk rock, hip hop infused, very live feel to it. 2008, I think it came out. Just bars. These guys are rappers. They're rappers. And this album is one of the best of all time. And I don't think a lot of people have heard it. I think one of their songs got featured in, what was that movie with Jennifer Aniston? And then it's got the kid in it who's like No Regrets.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The No Regrets tattoo.
Yeah. Where it's like, you're getting paid?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
One of their songs got on the soundtrack for that film. So
okay.
It had some push, but
yeah,
not a lot of people heard about it. They're local. The Saturday Nights Mingle. So good.
Hell yeah.
Everybody listen to it. Like, if you're not watching this podcast, I don't know how you would know this, but you should be listening to Mingle.
Now that we're at the end, after you go check out some of Billy's music, if you haven't already, go check that out next.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
Billy the Fridge.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.